This is your mortgage payment. You work all month, and a huge chunk of it goes straight to the bank. But here's the thing, that money the bank lent you, it didn't exist before you signed. The average US home now costs $270,000 USD. That, over 8 times the average salary. And the system making that happen wasn't built by accident. It was built in 1694 by a guy nobody's heard of, and it's still running today. What? Let's talk numbers first, because you need to feel this before we explain it. In 1994, a Fredo bar cost 10 cents. Today it costs 35 cents, a 250% jump. The average US salary in 1994 was $18,000 USD. Today it's around $35,000 USD, only a 94% increase. The chocolate bar outpaced your wages. Twice over. Housing is even worse. In 1990, the average US home cost $53,000 USD. In 2026, that same house cost $270,000 USD, a 400% explosion. In 1993, you needed 3 times your salary to buy an average home. Today, the ONS says you need over 12 times the national living wage. The Joseph Rowntree Foundation found 57% of US households still report rising costs as of early 2025. Energy bills have doubled since 2021. Your weekly food shop is up more than 30% in just 3 years. And as of 2026, the US national debt sits at USD 2.9 trillion. That's nearly 100% of GDP. The government spent 110 billion USD just on debt interest in 2025-26. That's the 3rd biggest item of public spending after health and welfare. You're not imagining it. You not bad with money. Something structural is broken, and it's been broken for a very long time. So the question isn't just why are things so expensive? The real question is, what even is money? Because the answer explains almost everything.
Bro, wait, hold on. So you're telling me my mortgage is basically made up money?
In a very literal sense, yes. The bank doesn't loan you money. It already has sitting in a vault.
That's insane. So where does it come from?
It comes into existence when you sign the contract. Your agreement to repay creates the money.
So the bank profits from something it literally invented the second I said yes.
Correct. And the interest you pay, that's real. That comes from your real labor, your real hours.
That feels like a scam. That's literally a scam.
It's a very old scam. The trick is, it's been legal since 1694.
You signed off on that.
A very clever Scottish merchant who'd spent time in the Bahamas around pirates. He understood power better than the politicians did. The origin. To find it, we need to go back, not to 2008, not to Thatcher. We need to go all the way to 1694. England was broke, at war with France, and the treasury was empty. That. When a Scottish merchant named William Paterson walked into Parliament. Born in a tiny village in Dumfriesshire in 1658, son of a farmer. By his 30s, he lived in Bristol, the Bahamas, Amsterdam, and Hamburg. He dealt with pirates, traded with merchants, and studied how real power actually worked. He noticed something nobody was saying out loud. The most powerful institutions in Europe were sitting on the most gold. They were lending money they didn't have and collecting real interest on it. So when he walked into Parliament in 1694, armed with a quill instead of a sword, he had a plan. He said, let private merchants form a bank. Call it the Bank of England. The bank lends the government £1.2 million for its war with France. In return, the bank gets a royal charter and guaranteed interest paid by the crown. There was just one problem. The bank didn't have £1.2 million. Paterson's solution? Simple. We create it. Write the number into existence. Then collect real interest on money that didn't exist a moment before it was lent. He literally wrote in a circular to investors, the bank hath benefit of the interest on all monies which it creates out of nothing. Out of nothing. His words, not ours. And who pays the interest? The government. And where does the government get its money? Your taxes.
Okay, wait, I think I'm starting to get it. So Paterson basically told the king, I'll create money from nothing, lend it to you, and you pay me back with everyone's taxes?
Exactly. And the king said yes because he had no other option. The treasury was empty and France was at the door.
So from day one, the deal was, the bank wins, the public pays.
And what's wild is Paterson himself wrote it down. He literally said the bank would profit from the interest on money created out of nothing. It's in the historical record.
He wrote it down? That's actually mental. He wasn't even hiding it.
He was selling it as a feature. The genius of it is that it worked. It did stabilize England's finances. It funded the navy, the infrastructure, the empire.
Right, but at whose cost though?
At the cost of every generation that paid taxes afterwards, including yours.
And the debt from 1694, is it even still there?
The UK national debt has never been fully cleared since the day the Bank of England opened. It's just grown. Today it stands at £2.9 trillion. The loop. Here's the part that gets dark. The debt was never meant to be repaid. A government that clears its debt puts the bank out of business. So the debt wasn't a problem to solve. The debt was the product. Think about your mortgage for a second. The bank doesn't. To hold the money it lends you, it creates it the moment you sign. Then for years, most of your monthly payments go to interest, not the actual bricks and mortar. The same principle that Paterson built in 1694 went on to fuel the 2008 crash on Wall Street. Banks lending money they didn't. To have, collecting interest, then collapsing and getting bailed out with your taxes. Different century. Same rules of the game. And that original debt from 1694, it never cleared. It just kept growing. Every generation born into it, taxed to service it, never once asked if they agreed. As of 2025-26, the UK government spent £110 billion just on interest, more than it spent on the entire transport budget. BAT. As to your money, paying interest on money that was created from nothing 3 centuries ago.
Right, so I think I've got it now. The system is basically a loop, money gets created, lent out, interest gets paid, and the debt never dies.
That's it. And every crisis, wars, pandemics, financial crashes, gives governments an excuse to borrow more, which grows the loop.
And that interest is paid by us, through taxes.
£110 billion in 2025 and 2026, according to the Office for Budget Responsibility, more than the entire UK transport budget.
That's just on the interest? Not even the actual debt?
Just the interest. The actual debt doesn't shrink, it grows every year.
And nobody told us this in school.
They teach you how to use money. They don't teach you who controls how it's created.
That feels deliberate.
Whether it's deliberate or just convenient, the effect is the same. You stay in the system, pay into it, and the loop keeps running.
So what breaks the loop?
That's a very good question, Jason, and it's exactly what we're going to talk about next time. So next time you're doing mental arithmetic over your weekly shop, or talking yourself out of a takeaway, or wondering why, no matter how hard you work, it never quite adds up. Remember, it isn't a personal failure. The system was built this way, deliberately, in 1694 by a pirate who understood power. You pay road tax, but potholes stay. You vote for change, but the policies shift like sand. They always find money for war, because war was the reason the whole system was invented. The Fredo bar isn't just a chocolate bar. It's a 300 years of receipt. And here's the question we haven't answered yet. If the money is created from nothing, who decides who gets it? And what happens when a new system comes along, one that nobody controls? We'll get into that next videos. But first, drop this video to someone who thinks they rage is bad with money. Thanks for your time to watch our video, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned with us.